It is my
Just go.
Sorry for that little thing. I was just a little unprepared. I'm Mini Mafia, your boy from the Mafia Means Family podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification.
It's okay. We all
I
make
know.
mistakes, right? No big deal. It's just a little
I
hiccup.
was doing my YouTube short.
It's all good. Hey, this is it's a live show, so it happens. I am Mafia Mom, and we're going to discuss today. We're going to sum up the beautiful win in my against Miami, and we're going to talk some Bills Jags in London. So if you have anything you want to share throughout the stream or afterwards when you're reading, please feel free to comment below. Love to hear what you guys have to say. So first off, how's your week been? How you doing?
My week has been great. School's been going good. There has been a little some incidents at school, but overall it's been a good week.
Good, good. And what did you think of that Bills Miami trouncing?
Man, we really squished the fish.
Well, we did. I heard all week. I don't know everybody else, but I heard all week about how Miami had the greatest offense of all time, how they were the new greatest show on turf and they were unstoppable. And could you keep them under 50? I heard that all week. And I don't know. What did you think? Were they unstoppable?
They were definitely unstoppable. Tyreek made
They were definitely unstoppable?
No, they were definitely stoppable.
Gotcha.
Tyreek literally made zero effort, and he faked injury, and he went down in towards the fourth quarter, and he was being a little baby about it. So was Jalen Waddle. So
I don't know if Jalen Waddle was out for that or if they pulled him out because he was just coming off of a concussion, and they may have told Tyreek he couldn't go back into. I will say, we're watching the game, and my spouse has had a theory on Tyreek Hill for a long time that he's a great front runner. So when things are going good, he's a great teammate, and when things get tough, he's not that guy. And when I believe he got hurt right before Allen ran the ball in, or right after Allen ran for that TD, and they showed him on the sidelines, and at that point she called that he was giving up, and then 2 plays later he had a knee injury but managed to jog off the field. So it is what it is. I hope he's okay. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I felt bad for Teron Armstead. And while we're on this topic, Trey White, man, that was tough. That was tough to watch. It really was.
As soon as he felt it, he knew something bad happened. As soon as he threw his helmet on the ground, he knew he was done for the season.
That was really tough. Anybody who's been a Bills fan for even just a few years has seen the impact he has on the field and in the locker room. And from what I've heard, he's never really dealt with serious injuries. So to go down 2 years ago with the ACL, and you could tell he wasn't right up until very recently, and he fought hard to get back. I remember hearing him say he was in a really dark place when the injury first happened, and mentally it was very difficult for him to get back. And then to be finally hitting your stride and finally playing like the All-Pro again, and to go down, it just, man, my heart breaks for that guy. Like, this isn't even about the Bills and the impact and all that. That's after the fact. I don't care about that in that moment. Just the human end of it. Trey White seems like a really amazing human being. He was valedictorian of his school. He's incredibly intelligent. He's a great leader. Every guy agrees that he is the first one in, the last one out. It just really, really tough to watch him go down. So, and now on to the happier end of things, because everything else in that Miami game was phenomenal. Mafia Sports Report here sharing, love how we trolled the Dolphins in that game. Gotta love it, man. That I didn't see the shirts beforehand. I saw Alan do that, and afterwards heard the story. That might be that's up there in like the top 3 celebrations I've ever seen. That was amazing. I love it. That's what you get for being that cocky after 3 games, man. McDermott would never let the guys walk into a place with shirts like that. No chance. So it was beautiful. It really was. So Mafia Sports Pro here explaining that the Dolphins made shirts prior to the game. Not sure we saw. Yeah, I heard it was only 3 players who walked in, so it may have been blown a little bit out of proportion. But either way, 3 players is enough, man.
I guarantee that Tua was one of them.
Nope.
Oh, huh?
It was Bradley Chubb, and there was two other
Tyreek?
guys. I don't think so, but the
Wow.
shirts were made because they had just put up 70 points and were underdogs. So it was like an emoji doing this, like, wonder why we're underdogs. That doesn't seem right. Well, Allen, I think Kyle Brandt said it best. He said Allen and Diggs were wondering why you were only 2.5-point underdogs. If you want to play with the big boys, then you should come out and prove it before you start running your mouths. So it was an all around great win. So who did you have for your players of the game from last week?
For my players of the game, I have Ed Oliver as defensive and Stephon Diggs, the man of the game.
Yeah.
For offense, like
I got to agree with you, man.
it was incredible.
Yeah. Ed Oliver was a beast. He spent more time, I think, on the Miami side of the line of scrimmage than he did on the Bills sideline. He was just living in there all day. And Diggs, 6 catches, 3 for touchdowns, 120 yards. I mean, the guy is just incredible. He is uncoverable one-on-one, and I don't care. I know it was Kohu. That was their mistake. They want to keep putting him on him. He's going to keep getting burned. But let's face it, we've seen every cornerback, every team tries to throw their number one guy on Diggs, and it makes no difference. When he is determined to score and Josh is on, he's unstoppable. You're going to get him the ball. So I think those are great choices for your player of the game. I went kind of in a different direction. So my offensive players of the game, I actually went on the coaching side of it, but as a combo with a player. So Josh and Dorsey together, I think this was by far their best game since Dorsey took over for Dable. I've been very frustrated and critical at times of Dorsey's play calling. There's still some things that are driving me crazy, but at the end of the day, that was, I don't know if you could call a game much better than that. That was pretty perfect. It really was. So kudos to Dorsey and Josh for getting it together there. I know Josh has a lot of freedom at the line to change different things. So I'm not sure how much of it's on Dorsey, how much of it's on Josh. But either way, as a team, great job. And defensively, I think you could pretty much just pick any guy other than Dane Jackson, which we'll get to later, as a superstar on defense in that game. But I'm going to give the credit to McDermott. He said all the right things all week, talked about how that offense was revolutionary and made jokes about Usain Bolt and just gave them all the credit in the world, and came out and they had 11 possessions and they scored on 3 drives. That is not a revolutionary number one in the NFL offense. I don't care what the stats say. You ran up the score on one of the worst teams in the NFL. Congratulations. That doesn't mean that you have an offense that can sustain with real defenses. So those would be my players of the game. Anything else you want to add about the players of the game from last week?
No, not really.
Okay. If you have any players of the game in the chat, please feel free to share. And Paula Evans here. You want to tell them who Paula Evans is?
Paula Evans is my grandma.
Yeah. And you want to say anything to her? Because you can tell everybody what's going on.
Right now, my grandma, she was having a lot of knee problems. It just started a couple months ago, and she just had her surgery a couple of days ago, and so far it's going well. She hasn't updated me much.
Well, she's been updated. Well, she's been updating us, but so she's in the hospital for a day, but she's doing really well. So that's my mom.
She's doing extremely well. In fact, like almost right after her surgery, she took a couple steps. So.
Yeah. And Minnie's grandmother. So hi, Mom. You want to say hi to Grandma?
Hi, Grandma.
Thanks for watching. And thank you for the new background. Yeah, these were part of ads at a grocery store, and I asked them if I could have them, and they gave them to me. So very excited about the huge cutouts. All right, so now we're going to move on to Minnie's favorite part of every show, which is fact or flag. Now, for those of you who've never been with us before, or if you're unsure of how the game works, I'm going to read a statement, and you're going to guess, and Minnie's going to guess either fact or flag. If you believe the statement is true, it's a fact. If you believe it's a flag, you wave the yellow flag around or type flag in the chat. So the first one up, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Jags have been in the league since 1997. That part is a fact. It's not up for debate. The Bills have never lost back-to-back games to the Jags. So out of the times that they face them, they have never lost back-to-back games against the Jags.
Well, they don't face them too often, and I don't think we lost last game against the Jags.
We did. We did. That was 2 years ago. It was like the worst game ever. We lost like 9-6. It was just, it was horrendous.
There was only field goals. It sucked.
I think it might have been a little bit more than that, but that was about the score. Yes. So I'm just looking something up for one of the other facts. So go ahead.
If we lost before that, then that would be 2 straight times we lost to the Jags. I don't remember facing the Jags any other time.
We faced them 16 times, if that helps.
16 times.
So, like I said, we lost to them last time. So
this is the 17th time.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? Fact or flag? We've never lost to them twice in a row.
I think that's a fact because as far as I've heard, I haven't heard like any big stories about them in the past.
Okay.
Or the only thing that's questioning me is Calais Campbell. It wasn't the last time. It was the last time, and then it wasn't the last time, and then it was 2 times ago that we faced him. That we faced the Jags. He was on the Jags.
I don't know. I don't remember Calais Campbell's history. So okay, but you're saying fact? Do you think that's a fact that we've never lost them twice in a row?
The only thing that's questioning me is Calais.
All right. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a.
And Beth is with us tonight. Beth hangs out with us quite often, so we love having you here, Beth. We're glad you're here. So hello to you and your family as well. Mafia, I'm kind of skipping ahead here in the comments, but Mafia Sports Report here pointing out that loss to the Jags was all on Dable. Terrible game plan, and he had 0 in-game adjustments. Couldn't agree with you more. I think sometimes we kind of make Dable out to be this hero when we talk about Dorsey. He drove me crazy just as much as Dorsey did. I don't know about everybody else, but he drove me crazy just as often. So I agree to a certain extent. We were flat in that game all around. It just, nobody really played well. I think the Jags, Josh Allen had 2 sacks and an interception. It was just an ugly game. However, the statement that I just read is in fact a flag. So back in 2009 and 2010, the Bills lost back-to-back games to the Jags. So it would have been before you were even born. It's the only time.
I thought it was like before I was born because I don't remember. The only time that I remember losing to the Jags was 2 years ago, and I don't remember facing the Jags any other times.
So it's not some.
If we did, I would have thought it would have been before I was born because I don't remember.
Well, we faced him quite a few times. Like I said, 16 times since 1987. But that one is a fact. Hopefully this week does not become number 2 of losing back-to-back games because it's only happened once to us. All right. We're going to move on to the next question here. So Bills and Jags have faced off 16 times.
I know that's a fact.
All but 3. Yes, that part is a fact. All but 3 games have been 1-score games.
1-score games.
Yep. So 13 out of 16. And while you're thinking about that here, I'll read Beth's comments. I've made Mafia Sports Report my home. You're stuck with me. Well, you're great to have here, Beth. We're really happy when you're able to come in and chat with us and keep things rolling. Especially, we love being able to interact with anybody who's watching the show. You guys bring up great points sometimes, and it's nice to be able to have more of a back and forth. So, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate the support. So what do you think? So Bills, Jags, 16 games together. All but 3 have been 1-score games.
Well, before I answer this question, I did want to.
The same fact.
I did want to shout out my Bills cup. It's based off of a team made. It's kind of like these football collectibles, but they're like mini. They're like this big, and you can collect all different players from all the different teams. And I got a Bills cup for Christmas last year, so.
You like that cup, I know.
I do like this cup.
All right, so Beth is going to say fact. What do you think? All but 3 have been 1-score games.
13 of them would have been 1-score games. Well, we did lose to them 2 times in a row, so obviously they would be pretty good. Because before I was born in 2012, we had Ryan Fitzpatrick.
There was a whole carousel of different quarterbacks.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we had Jim Kelly in some of the.
Well, that was way back, but I love the way you think through these. It's interesting.
I think it's a fact.
You think it's a fact? Mafia Sports Report pointed out here. Here's another fact. We lost in London against the Jets. Tyrod Taylor was our QB. I do remember that game. I'm pretty sure EJ Manuel came in. I think Taylor got hurt. I didn't look up the specifics of that game, but I'm pretty sure that was the game that EJ Manuel had to come in and backed up Tyrod. Nathan Peterman may have even been on the roster there.
Oh, God.
I don't know
hate
if he
Nathan
went in and
Peterman.
threw the ball away a few times or never got in the game, but I'm pretty sure Tyrod got hurt in that game. So you said it was a fact?
I did say it was
All right. You and Beth are 100% correct. It
Let's
is in
go,
fact
Beth.
a fact. So they've played some close games over the years. All right. I'm going to move on.
Hopefully this is
One
a
more.
one-score
Last
game.
one here of the traditional fact and flag. And then I have another question that I'd like to see what you guys say. So despite the Bills defense looking very impressive, they are the worst in the league in yards per carry allowed. So they've been very impressive lately, but worst in the league. They're giving up the most yards per carry of any team in the league.
Well, the only like big run that we've given up this year was the Brees Hall 83-yard run. That was like the only like really big yard run.
Mm-hmm.
The rest we've only given up like, well, Jonathan Taylor. I'm pretty sure. No,
We didn't play
we
Jonathan Taylor.
who was the lead rusher?
Which game?
Josh Jacobs. We held him to -2
Yes.
yards. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a fact.
You think it's a fact?
Yeah.
So you think we are giving up the worst yards per carry
No.
in the league? No, you think it's a flag then?
I don't think we are.
You don't think we are? Okay. So that's the flag, right? So wave the flag.
I already waved
Okay.
the flag.
So that is in fact true. Now I think this is a little bit slight. I think this is a little bit misleading because I think a lot of those yards have been given up in garbage time. The Dolphins only had 63 yards rushing on us going into the fourth quarter. We were in a prevent defense after that. There was nothing left to prove. We were up big. So I think a lot of those yards are coming at a time when we're playing to prevent the big pass, and they don't really mean anything. We definitely haven't let teams sustain drives through the run game. So 1 and 2 today. Now, I do have one other question. Oh, Beth here said it was a flag. And it actually is true. Yeah, I know. It was surprising to me too when I looked it up. It's not the overall yards, just the yards per carry that we're last in the league. So I have an interesting question for you guys. I was looking up drops and drop percentages. Now, first off,
that's ugly.
one interesting thing about the Jags game. So now different sites kind of keep different stats on this because some drops are more subjective, more objective. So one place might call it a drop, one place might call it a bad pass. But according to the one stat site that I was on, the most drops by any player at this point in the league are 3, and there are 9 different players tied with 3 drops.
I know. I think Gabe is one
Nope.
of them. Wow.
2 of them are Jaguars. Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk both have 2 drops. They also have 3 drops, excuse me. They also have a guy with 2 drops. So drop passes have been an issue for them. Now, I talk about that to transition into the Bills drops because the Bills have had an issue with drops the last few years. We were second worst in the league last year, and we've had a few drops so far this year. So my question is, does anybody know or take a guess, who do you think on our team has the best catch percentage right now? Meaning when the ball is catchable, they catch it the most often when targeted.
I have one.
They are big names, Beth. You're right. Those are big names. And I saw Mafia there commenting about the stadium. I'm definitely going to bring that up. Thank you for reminding me for sure, because it's really interesting the way that it connects there for sure.
I have.
So what do you think? If you had to take a guess, who on our team
Kincaid.
is, and this person is top 10 in catch percentage. Do you think it's Kincaid?
Yeah. So far, what I've seen, he's only, I think, dropped 1 pass.
Okay.
And that was in like the first 2 or 3 games. So honestly, I think it's Kincaid.
Okay.
If he didn't drop 1, he's dropped none.
Okay.
He's caught almost every ball that's been thrown to him.
Okay. So you are 100% right. I did not think you would get that right. So our rookie tight end right now, and all of our guys are actually doing pretty well in this. Even Gabe Davis, who has had big struggles with that in the past, and Dawson Knox, both doing very, very well in catch percentage. It's up from where it's been in the past. But Kincaid is top 10 in the league and number 1 on our team in catch percentage. Now, they haven't been deep passes, but that's not the point. Rookies make rookie mistakes, and he's looked really good out there. So I'm going to continue to to cheer on this guy because I think he's going to be a very big factor for us by the end of the season. Okay. Let's move on now real quick. We'll touch on this. Mafia Sports Report pointed out here that this is really cool. The stadium that we're playing in over in London, our new stadium is being modeled after the stadium. So when you're looking at the game on TV on Sunday, keep that in mind. Our new stadium is going to look a lot like this stadium will.
Wow.
Another thing here.
3,000 people though. So.
Yeah. Another thing here that Mafia Sports Report brought up, we were just talking about the injury report before the game. You want to go ahead and read the comment?
Yeah, Mafia Sports Report said, keep an eye on Groot. He may not be playing this Sunday due to a foot injury. Yeah. If he doesn't play, poor Groot, he's had a really successful career so far, and I'm really hoping he plays because he's one of my favorite players.
Yeah, I don't think it's serious, although I haven't heard McDermott actually talk about it. I'm hoping he plays, obviously, but if he's not 100%, even if we don't get Miller back, I don't think you rush him. We need him intact for the playoffs. So if it's really going to possibly affect him in a bad way to throw him out there for the Jags game, I say just hold him out. I did see that Poyer was limited at practice, though, and Von Miller was out there practicing. So McDermott said today was their first physical practice, so they would see how he was doing after that. And we'll see what happens with him. I think even if Von plays, he'll be on a pitch count. So don't expect to see him out there on, 50, 60% of the snaps. I don't think he'll play that much, but it would be good just to see him back out there, especially for a little boost after losing Trey. All right, so we're going to move on. He hasn't practiced all week. Yeah, Groot has been out. He was completely do not practice on Wednesday and Thursday. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, there's no shot he'll be playing.
All right. I doubt he's going to be playing, considering he hasn't played all week.
Yeah.
But Beth B has commented, did Greg finish the game Sunday? I'm pretty sure he did finish the game. I saw him in the fourth quarter, but I'm not 100% sure.
So my memory of it, we pulled a lot of starters at the end of the game, and he wasn't in there. But I assumed it was because of being started. I don't remember him seeing him go down or be helped off the field. So he may have just tweaked something. It may have been stepped on wrong or pulled something. It doesn't seem to be real serious, but so much of the focus after the game went on to Trey White, so it could have been overshadowed by that. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed that he gets to practice tomorrow, and hopefully he can be out there on Sunday for us and help us out. All right. On to the keys to the game. So would you like to go first or second for your first key to the game?
I want to go first.
Okay. What's your first one? Offensive or defensive?
My defense. I'm going to go for my defensive first. This is probably not my best key to the game, but it's still a decent key to the game. My defensive key to the game is putting a spy on Trevor Lawrence. You were just talking about it before we did the podcast, that he has one of the best escape abilities.
Or as far as sacks go, he's not always a runner, but yes, he's got a very high sack avoidance number.
Yeah, he's definitely. I haven't seen most of his games, but in the Jaguars Falcons game in London, that I did see him escape a couple times, and he's not a big runner, but whenever he rolls out, he's definitely going to probably pass it. If he does run it, it'll definitely be surprising, but that's mine. We need to keep a spy, probably like Milano, kind of like we did in the Chiefs game. I'm pretty sure it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
We had Milano in the middle so he could cover the check down, and Mahomes just in case if he runs. So as soon as Mahomes would roll out, Milano would be in there. So I think that we need to do that on Sunday. So
I could definitely see that as a possibility. I think that McDermott might hold that, maybe practice it and it's there if you need it. I don't know if we'll necessarily start the game that way, just because Lawrence is a much bigger. We're much more worried. We're much more concerned about him getting out of the pocket and throwing the ball. He's not going to go on 15, 20 yards runs as often, but I think it is something to have prepared for sure. So I can understand where you're coming from there. It does look like we have a few people in the chat updating on what they saw from the Rousseau. So you want to read what Dunn said there?
Yeah, Dunn 716. When Oliver plants
716, just so you know, it's the area code. It's okay, good.
When Oliver plants his knee to the ground is when it happens. It's probably just sore bone bruises.
That's possible. When the score was still 14-21. Okay, so he clearly did come back in the game then after that. We all know how cautious the Bills coaching staff is with injuries, especially this time of year. So if they're concerned at all, they're going to hold him out. And then
Beth B
yep.
commented, "There's no talk about it, but Miller might just debut Sunday. If Groot's hurt, that might make a decision for McDermott."
You're right. He might be more likely to play.
Yeah,
if Groot's out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Beth. Just because without Groot, our pass rush on the outside is definitely a lot weaker. So we're not gonna have Rousseau out there with Floyd on the other end. So all Trevor has to do is just roll out, I think, onto the right side, which is where Groot plays.
Well, Groot is usually on the right side of the D line, so the left side for Trevor Lawrence.
So he would have to probably like roll out on the left and then just like maybe like throw a check down or something. So if we don't have Groot in there, I think we're definitely gonna put Miller in there. And if Miller doesn't play, I'm a little worried about who's gonna play there because I don't really know who's going to.
I mean, Epinesa and Kingsley Jonathan's been playing really well. I think we have enough depth on that line to get through one game, even if both of them can't go. But obviously, I'd rather have at least one of them out there.
I don't think we mentioned this. It was not last week's, but 2 weeks ago versus Washington. Honestly, if Epinesa plays, I won't be too mad. I won't really be mad at all because about the play he made.
That was really incredible.
Against Washington's QB.
Yep, Howell.
Yeah, Sam
That
Howell.
was impressive.
And then he returned it for a pick six.
First interception, he takes it back to the house, yes. And Dunn 716 here. Go ahead, you want to read it?
If Vaughn does play, I believe he'll be on a snap count like Trey was in his first game back last year. I do agree with you. Yeah. If they do play him, I think they'll definitely put him on a snap count. Like Mafia Mom said and like Dunn said. But if he does well with the snap count, I think they might put him in a little bit more, like just to like, get him warmed up a little bit. Ready for the other games.
The only thing that gives me hope here, I do think he'll be on a snap count, but I try to keep reminding myself that Vaughn has come back from an ACL before and they've already taken it slower. He was cleared by his doctor the day before they put him on IR before the season started. So he has been okay to play doctor-wise for 4 weeks now. So he may be in a very different place mentally and physically than Trey was when we first brought Trey back. Vaughn also knows exactly what it takes to get out there after an ACL tear. Trey had never had to deal with a serious injury before. I think the mental stuff played a bigger role in Trey White coming back than any physical limitations did. So I still think he'll be on a snap count. I totally agree with you. I just try to keep reminding myself that it is different, so they may treat the situations different. Now, I'm going to give what I believe is the key to the game defensively. And I think with White being down, a lot of focus is going to go to that CB2. Now, I don't know how everybody else feels. I want to see Elam take that spot. I understand that puts us at two corners who've only been in the league for 2 years, who have very limited playing time. I just think that the floor for both Elam and Dane Jackson are about the same, but the ceiling is completely different. Elam's is way higher.
Also,
Elam did have 3 picks last year in very limited role.
Yeah, also, if he doesn't play, I'm going to be mad.
If who doesn't play?
If Elam doesn't play, if Bedford, I'm pretty sure Bedford would be at number 1, but I would think Elam or Bedford would be at number 1. If one of those two don't play number 2, I'm going to be mad. If Dane Jackson or, hate to say his name, Cam Lewis plays.
Cam Lewis isn't the option. It's going to be, Elam will be dressed either way because at least he'll be a backup. And that was the next part of what I was going to say. It would either be Dane or Elam will be that CB2.
What if one of them get hurt?
Well, both of them would have to get hurt because if Dane got hurt, then Elam would come in. If Elam got hurt, then Dane would come in. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, however, Benford has also been on the injury report, so we'll see how that shoulder does. He left the game for a while against Miami and ended up coming back in, thankfully, because we were out of outside corners. But as far as the CB2 goes, if the coaches do decide to go with Dane for whatever reason, they think that what he's showing in practice is the better option. I hope he's on a short leash. If you guys go back and you watch that first drive of the third quarter for Miami, every single play but one, it was Dane Jackson's fault that they made yards. Every single one. There was a jet sweep end around thing to Tyreek Hill. Dane Jackson dove for the tackle instead of holding the edge. It just, he got beat on the touchdown. He wasn't deep enough. It was just over and over and over again. He had inside help, and instead he gave up his outside leverage on a Waddle catch on the edge. It just over and over again. He was in there for a very short bit and he couldn't get the job done. I don't think he's worth it to keep in there. Dunn's also saying that he's been waiting on Elam to be out there. I agree. I don't know what's happening with him in practice. Everybody talks about how hard he works. I'm very surprised that he has not gotten more chances. And I think Benford's played very well. But when Trey went down, to me, Elam is the common sense one. You spent a first round pick on this guy. We got to see what we have in him. Let's remember, we got to make a decision the next few years what we're going to do with him. So let's figure out who he is. And either way, I don't think Dane Jackson's the answer. I think that he's a step down from Levi Wallace. And I think Levi Wallace cost us a few times. So that's just my opinion. The other part of my key to the game is the linebackers have to keep playing at such a high level. They've been unbelievable, and they have to keep playing the pass as well as they have and being as aggressive as they are and around the ball. So what about your offensive keys to the game? And anybody in the chat, if you have offensive or defensive plays keys to the game for this week, please feel free to share them. We'd love to hear them.
My offensive key to the game, my key to the game. Sorry, I couldn't exactly remember it, and I couldn't really read off my whiteboard right here.
It's okay.
My offensive key to the game is keep Josh Allen off of Josh Allen. Since the last time I played them, Josh Allen had 2 sacks, and Josh Allen went down 2 times by Josh Allen.
He did. He did. Yeah.
It's weird having 2 Josh Allens facing each other. It gets confusing.
Yeah, I'd agree. And
who's Josh Allen are you talking about? Are you talking about the one on the Jags or the one on the Bills?
Well, I guess if they talk about Josh Allen throwing the ball, it's probably our Josh Allen. If they talk about Josh Allen making a tackle, I'm hoping it's not our Josh Allen because that means we turn the ball over.
Who says?
Well, if he's making a tackle, how else could he make a tackle? Is he out there playing defense?
He could.
Don't tell me we're getting that desperate at tackle or at sort of cornerback.
He could deck the guy.
Well, that wouldn't be a tackle. Still, you can only tackle the guy with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Dunn here saying that when we done 716, when we get speedy receivers, I'm worried that Dane and Benford would have some trouble. I agree. I don't see how Dane is the answer to this problem. I don't in any way. I will be very frustrated if I see 30 out there starting on defense, and I will just be hoping that he's on a very short leash. I know he has the experience, but we know what Dane is. So I'm with you on that one.
We don't know what Elam is yet. So honestly, I say give Elam a shot before Dane. And if he makes like 2 or 3 mistakes, people make mistakes, but then pull him out for a couple plays. Dane Jackson is good for us for a couple plays or games if he's
a great backup. I mean, he's always ready to go. Do you want to read Beth's comment about Elam there?
Yeah. Beth said the only issue I have with Elam is his hands. He gets grabby. I agree. He's like Sauce in a way, but I think he's taller and more athletic. Overall, but I don't think he's at his full potential yet. I think Sauce is almost entering his prime right now, even though it's only his second season. I think he's almost entering his prime, and Elam hasn't really gotten many shots, so I don't think Elam's even close to seeing what he can actually do. So I'm excited to see him.
I agree.
I hope he plays.
Elam can get a little bit grabby. I'd rather have a guy out there, though, that's going to be too physical than a guy who's going to consistently get beat. And that's where my issue comes in. I do think that the one thing that has kind of held him back at times is the Bills play a heavy zone defense. And Elam in college was a big man-to-man corner. I don't see how that transition is so hard to make that Dane Jackson is a better guy for the job, though. I can't. And I think Elam out there last year, that Miami playoff game that was way closer than it should have been. Elam makes the game-saving touchdown. I mean, the game-saving interception. So I just think Elam, when Elam did have his shots, he did show up. I agree. done. I think that's the point. We have seen Elam make big plays in big moments. I haven't seen that out of Dane Jackson.
I mean, the only time I've seen him make a big play was when he intercepted it off to the Steelers and he returned it for a touchdown. That's the literal.
Dane?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Maybe
Maybe
it was Johnson who did that, not Dane.
Okay.
I've never seen Dane make a big play. I've seen Elam make many big plays.
He also picked off Mahomes in the end zone. That was his first career interception. So.
And that's surprising because people do pick off Mahomes, but
yeah,
I'm sorry to give credit to Mahomes, but he's a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, he's a very good quarterback. Okay, so my offensive key to the game is going to be basically more of the same, status quo. So stay focused and patient. Allen right now leads the NFL in completion percentage, and that's because he's been taking what the defense gives him. Get the run game going and continue to put Josh under center. I was just listening to Dan Orlovsky was on One Bills Drive, as he is every week, and he was reading off the numbers for Josh Allen throwing the ball off of play action under center. He's the number one QB in the NFL off of play action. He has completed a crazy percentage of his passes off of play action when he's under center. Here's the crazy thing. So QBR is out of 100. 100 is a perfect QBR. I don't know if I've ever seen a guy actually have that throughout an entire game. People have had perfect QB ratings. That's the one out of 158.3. But QBR out of 100, I've never seen it. Josh Allen throwing the ball off of play action when he's under center has a 98 QBR. Just to give you an idea, that perfect game he played against the Patriots a few years ago had a lower QBR than 98. So that is pretty insane. He's got like 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then another absolutely mind-blowing number is he is averaging 17 yards an attempt, not a completion, an attempt. So when he is under center, play actions, turns around, throws the ball, it goes an average of 17 yards of play. That's insane. This is just, they're giving you the answers to the test, Dorsey. Use them. So I'm really hoping to see a lot of Josh under center. I think the run game works better when he's under center, and I think the play action is absolutely more effective, and I think the stats back that up. So keep Allen clean. I agree, Beth. That's a big one. And again, the play action helps with that. The play action can mask deficiencies on your line. So when Allen has to turn his back to the D line and he puts that ball out there to fake the handoff, the linebackers and the D linemen have to freeze for a moment. They don't know where that ball's going. It gives an extra second. It gives Diggs a second to get separation. It gives Allen a second to let the play develop for him to be able to use that bazooka of an arm to throw the ball downfield. It also gives them a chance to read the defense more effectively, and it gives our offensive line a second where they are not just teeing off and pass rushing. Every single aspect of it it's a better option when he's under center. I'm not saying to do it on every play, but it is something that you should be using a lot more than you're using that stupid shotgun play action, which is useless. You might as well take the play action out of it because all it does is take up time. It doesn't make anybody move anywhere.
Honestly, I also prefer him under center. I do think we should put him in shotgun some of the time, and that's just to like have defenses think that we might do that. That's the only reason why I would do that. But I love to see him under center. Like you said, it has to have the defense freeze. It gives him more time to use his arm and Diggs to get separation. But you did forget a thing. It also gives him a moment to see if the defense is going to cover or if they're going to press up to see if he's going to run.
Yeah,
because he also might run off of it. And we've seen him do that before, like in the Kansas City game. He was under center. He faked the run to see if anybody was open. He didn't. Then he hurdled the guy. So
yeah, I definitely agree. And Dunn here is sharing his offensive plays to the game. So you want to read those?
Yes. Keep doing what we've been doing. Take what they give us and run the ball and switch it up with Cook, Murray, and Harris. Done. I completely agree with you 100%. We need to mix up the running backs. But
Beth is saying that there too. She liked seeing Murray and Harris last weekend.
We've said this a ton in the podcasts. We need to use Murray. We need to use Murray and Harris in the first half, and then put Cook in towards the mid to end of the third quarter and have him in almost the entire fourth quarter. The defense is worn down from running, from tackling, just from getting hit by all of our guys. Like, they're worn down. Use James Cook's speed to your advantage, and his balance and his sight. He's Dalvin Cook's brother. He should almost be better.
Hmm. I totally agree. And that's the when you use those bigger, more physical backs early in the game, especially running them between the tackles where the D line is having to bang bodies to make the tackle, you are wearing them down. You're wearing them down for later in the game. Then you throw Cook out there where he has deceptive speed because they've been seeing Cook and Harris, or they've been seeing Harris and Murray, and he is so much more elusive. I agree. The first half should really belong more to Harris and Murray, and then let Cook in the second half. Mafia Sports Report was also pointing out one of the reasons why the under center, and I 100% agree, works so well is that when the QB turns his back to the defense they can't find the football. So they have to hold for a minute. It also, if you think about it, the running back is already coming towards the line of scrimmage at that point. So the defense needs to be able to react faster to that running back. Whereas when it's in shotgun and they turn to hand the ball, the running back's at a standstill. They get to just react to what's happening. There is no guessing involved. There is no reading body language. If he gets the ball, I'm going to move here. If he doesn't, I'm going to do this. Either way, they're moving in the same direction. But when that running back is coming towards the line, it forces the D to pick a side. And that's why those are the reasons why it's effective. It's not that hard. Ken Dorsey has been around football his whole life. This should be really easy at this point. You want to read the other comment there about the running backs?
Yes, Mafia Sports Report. To me, Murray should be in earlier with Cook, then put Harris late in the game to run the clock out. I personally disagree with Mafia Sports Support, but I also do agree with them just because like when the defense is even more worn down with Cook, I say put Murray and Cook in to I say have Cook in a little bit in the first half and have Murray in most of the time in the first half, maybe put Harris in there a couple times. But and then in the third and fourth quarter uh put Murray and Cook in, and towards the beginning, towards the mid to the end, start putting Harris and Cook out there, because Harris is still a number one running back.
He's a great
Maybe
running
not
back.
on this team, but on other teams, he's a great running back. Like maybe on like the Chiefs or something. He's a number.
Pacheco, but yes, he could be a number one running back somewhere else. Yes.
He's a great running back. Honestly, I think we should use him more. I like the dude. I don't know if he's going to stay here much longer.
He's had injury concerns, and that may be why they're going lighter on him. Mafia Sports Report saying here, Murray is that dude. Love that signing. A very underrated signing. I didn't expect as much out of him as what we've gotten. I agree with both of you to an extent. I think it depends on why you're running at the end of the game. If you're running at the end of the game because you're up 2 scores and you're trying to drain the clock, yes, I think Harris is a better
But
option.
If we're running and
if you're
tied,
running in a close game because you're trying to move the ball and sustain drives, I think after the defensive line has been getting beaten up on all game, I think that's a time when Cook can shine. I also think him being such a threat out of the backfield, not that Harris and Murray can't be, but they don't have that kind of speed and agility. Cook is a lot closer to a wide receiver than they are. So I think if you're trying to get points and sustain drives in an aggressive manner, I think it should be Cook at the end of the game. If you're trying to just run the clock out because you're up 20 points, 17 points, something like that, then I agree with you. Throw Harris in there and let him just drain the clock. So I agree with both of you to a certain extent. Okay. We're going to move on now to our Josh Allen stat line. So if anybody in the chat, if you have a Josh Allen stat line you want to share with us, please feel free to. So I think that this Josh Allen has struggled a little bit against the Jags over the years. So I looked it up earlier. Let me just pull up the screenshot I took of it here. Give me 1 second. So Josh Allen has played the Jags twice. Once was way back in his rookie season, so keep that in mind. But the other one obviously was a few years ago, which was not a good game. He only averages 212 yards a game, under 60% completion, 59.1% completion. He only has one touchdown and 2 interceptions. So not great numbers against the Jags. Now, I do expect him to have a better game than that this Sunday, but I don't expect it to be a world beater game like he had against Miami. I think he's going to have around 275 yards total. Again, that's with rushing and passing. And I think he'll have 2 TDs. I think it'll be a solid game. I think it'll be a lot of underneath stuff, a lot of run after catch type of stuff, and I think it's going to be a heavy dose of the run game in this game. So I don't see Allen having the biggest game, but no turnovers. I'm hoping for. It's been a long time since he had back-to-back games with no turnovers. So no turnovers, I think, is the bigger factor. What do you have going on?
My Josh Allen stat line is 253 yards. That's not including the rushing yards. I think he's gonna have one interception. Unfortunately, I think he's just gonna make a dumb throw, and it's just gonna get picked off. But I think we're gonna tackle him almost immediately. So I think he's gonna have 5 touchdowns like last game, and then for his attempts, I think he's going to go 23 for 31. That's a really good passing game.
5 touchdowns, back-to-back games would be incredible for sure.
And then for his rushing, I think he's going to have 32 yards. I think he's going to have 5 attempts and then 1 touchdown.
So you think he's going to score 6 touchdowns altogether or 5 touchdowns altogether?
6.
Wow. You have like a record-setting day for Josh. Let's see, man. I'm not saying it's not possible. Let's see it. That is quite the stat line there for sure. So the Dunn here saying you got to be careful. I believe the last 3 games for the Jags, they got 3 picks in all 3 games or something like that. Yeah, their defense is opportunistic for sure. So Allen needs to make sure he's continuing to take care of the ball. Yep. Oh, I think I'm all caught up there on the comments there. Okay. So obviously you have a little bit more there than I do for Allen as far as touchdowns go. Hey, I'd love to see it back-to-back games with over 5 touchdowns. That would be incredible. I don't think it's not possible. I'm just not sure how likely it is, but we'll see what happens. I would have never predicted the kind of score we had in the last few games. So they're playing better than I'm anticipating. Speaking of earlier predictions, just review a few predictions that we made last week. So I did believe that Allen was going to have a pick last week. You were very for sure he was not. So you definitely got that right. He did not.
I don't think so.
Nobody was anywhere close to the score. I don't think anybody on TV, anywhere else, predicted that kind of blowout. However, I did say that I thought Allen would have a total of 320 yards last week and 4 touchdowns. He had 320 passing yards. He did have 17 rushing yards, so I missed those. But obviously, he had 4 TDs through the air and 1 on the ground. My other hot take my hot take from last week was that the D would have 4 sacks. Now, I did say that I thought Milano would have 1. He did not. He did have a forced fumble, but our D did have 4 sacks. So again, trying to get things right on these hot takes. I said again, I thought Kincaid was going to score, and he did not. I'm going to stop picking it this week, so watch. This will definitely be the week it happens. All right, but on to our
I'll go first.
Our hot take. So what do you got for your hot take?
My hot take isn't as spicy as the first week, but it's still spicy. I don't think Josh Allen will go down once.
So Josh Allen will not be sacked out. That would be the first game so far this season where he has not been sacked out. Now, some of those are on him, but you think he's going to stay upright all day?
I think he might get sacked once, and that's just because of like his stupid decision.
Are you abandoning your hot take here?
No.
Okay.
I don't think the defense will sack him once.
Okay. So that'd be great. It would be great to keep Josh upright. And if he keeps playing this high efficiency ball, I definitely think it's possible. Beth here shared an opinion here about the Jags. You want to read that?
Yes. Beth said Jags are a good team, but not equal.
In my opinion.
To the Finns. I do agree. The Finns are definitely better. They may have a better defense, but not a better offense. We still would come out on top.
I agree. I think the only way the Bills lose this game is if they forget to show up, basically.
Kind of like last game.
We are across the board the much better team in all aspects. And we've never really seen how the whole staying in London for the week thing works out. But there's got to be a downside to it, too. These guys haven't been in their own beds. They haven't seen their families. They've been in a foreign country for the last week and a half. So we'll see if that seems to help them at all, at least at the beginning of the game. But yeah, I think on paper, the Dolphins are way better than the Jags, and the Bills are better than the Jags. So I don't see why we should struggle this game, but these games worry me more than the games against the more elite teams in the league in the regular season, because I feel like we are just focused on a different level. Now, the focus we've shown the last few weeks, let's hope that continues to carry over. Because if that happens, I think McDermott will have them prepared. I think there's no chance that we don't win this game if that happens. So my hot take, or do you want to go first? Oh, you did. You gave your hot take. I'm sorry. My hot take for this week, I think Cook will have his second 100-yard rushing game. Again, I think it's going to be a heavy dose of the run game in this game, at least in the beginning. Also, because I think the Jags are going to see what Allen and Diggs did last game, and they are going to be very determined to not give that up this game. So I think we're going to be able to get that run game going early. I think Cook will have at least 100 yards rushing. Also, I think Gabe Davis, now he's had a touchdown in each of the last 3 games. There have been 2 other times in his career where at least 2, where he's caught a touchdown in 3 consecutive games. He's never made it to that 4th. So the other part of my hot take would be that Gabe Davis will continue that streak, and he will get into the end zone this week. So he'll have 4 games in a row with a touchdown. So I just saw another comment there. Let's see where to go. Is it just about food? I thought I saw something there about Kincaid. Okay, that's okay. I thought I saw a comment in there about Kincaid, but talking about English food, yeah, I've been to London once, was not a fan of the food. Would have scored, but Allen had to roll out of the pocket and pass it to Diggs for that. Yeah, I did see that done. He was open. He was also open with a lot of green grass on the little flip to Cook in the second half of the game. He was also open. I'm not sure he would have scored on it, but it would have been a big play either way. I like the way the kid plays, so I'm excited to see how he's going to continue to grow. Okay, so on to our final part here. If anybody else has any hot takes or score predictions that you want to share, please feel free to put it down below, either in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after the fact. So, score prediction. You want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. I think this is going to be a lower scoring affair than what we've had the last few weeks, which isn't saying much because we've been putting up points. I do think we're going to win comfortably, though. I see a 27-13 game at the end of the day.
I actually kind of completely disagree with that. I do think that the Jags are definitely going to have a higher, but I also think we're going to have a higher score.
Okay.
I think it's going to be 42-24.
42-24.
And
okay.
Just so you know, my touchdowns do match up with my score.
Yes, they do.
So I was not stupid.
Got 6 touchdowns. I don't think anybody thought you were stupid. So you got 6 touchdowns there. Okay, so I think we're both calling for a win. If you have a score prediction, again, love to see it. And even if you don't feel like sharing your score prediction, really appreciate you guys coming into the chat tonight and hanging out with us and just going back and forth. It's always a lot more fun that way. We can sit up here and talk for an hour and share our opinions, but when we get to kind of bounce them off and hear yours, it's definitely a lot more interesting that way. So, all right, anything else you would like to share before we close this one out?
No, just everybody have a blessed day. God bless everybody.
Okay. And yeah, everybody have a great week. And we'll be back here next Thursday at 7:30. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Go get your tea and crumpets in honor of the game on Sunday. And yeah, until next time, go Bills.
Go Bills. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more awesome content. Bye.